So you want to be a dungeon master?
That's great. We're here to help. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Justin. This week, we're going over the subclasses not in the player's handbook, but in all those supplemental books. And we're doing it for the clerics this time. So say your prayers, gang, because these add even more diversity to an already subclass-rich class. Wow. Whoever wrote this needs to think about how it's going to sound out loud and not just on the page. Note to self there. And there's a good amount to go over, so let's get into it right away. But first.
Right away, but first.
Always gonna have a but first? Okay. There's a lot of cleric subclasses.
Mm-hmm. There really are.
Potentially using one of the settings of our actual plays, Sphinx City, Mythos University, public domains, out currently at the time of recording. If you had to do an elevator pitch for a new homebrew cleric subclass, what would it be?
So I really like our current campaign, the public domains, and I thought about making a cleric that's based on that kind of setting. So I went with, I call it the tail spinner domain. And basically it gets its power from not necessarily a deity, but like the belief in stories, like the old tales of the things that go bump in the night type of deal. These stories that legends and stuff that have been in some instances inflated to the point of legend and stuff. But the belief in these things is where this cleric kind of gets its power from. So
Right.
I would love to see, we talked a little bit about bards. I would probably work some kind of College of Eloquence bard features into it a little bit, or I don't know what I would do mechanically with it, but I like that idea of, that kind of belief, the creation myths and stuff.
Yeah.
Of humanity.
Yeah. I think you could do a lot with that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of interesting things you could do. I like it. For me, I chose, and I can't necessarily say that it's connected to any one setting that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
I think my first thing that I wrote down and then it promptly got rid of was like Sphinx City and like there being an idea of a technology domain, but maybe making it more specific where it was like artificial intelligence.
Okay.
But then I was like,
like it's deities.
I'm
it's
bored
like
of
an
AI. Yeah, I was just like, I'm bored of AI. I don't even want to pretend that
Fair
it's
enough.
in a game. So the word domain made me think of Jujutsu Kaisen. So then I thought of Infinity Domain because of Gojo.
Right.
So then I was like,
right.
This is it, baby. This is it. So that's what I chose. And that's my elevator pitch. No, I think, just playing on the idea of the cosmos and like gravity and time and all of these like high level physics and like astrophysics and shit like that and the speed of light and all those different spacey kind of things. And I don't think that there's a domain that does that currently. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. I don't know. There's
not like
a few that I'm not super familiar with that we're going to be going over today in these new ones. But yeah, I mean, space is a cool thing. Like just
that's what I'm thinking. Space and gravity and all those different things. They added all those different chronergy and graviturgy spells from the Exandria setting. And it's like, why not the cleric have some fun with time and space and shit?
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, let's get into it. There are 6 and we'll be bouncing back and forth. Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
There's
a bunch because I feel like the cleric episode was already so long because there's already so many in the player's handbook too.
Yeah, it really is crazy. I already started writing the like outline for the druid episode. Druids in there, and I guess we'll mention this in the next episode too, but like in the player's handbook, 2 subclasses, like nothing. They get like some of the fewest, and then they only have 5 extra from all the supplements. And now we're doing cleric that has 6, which
devs have something
insane.
against druids.
It's insane. It's I think maybe it's because it's just like a little bit easier to come up with domains because it's so broad.
Right.
These categories are so broad. Like
Mhm.
you have nature domain, clerics, druids are all based in nature, so you have to find all these different, I don't know. Anyway, the first one up is the Arcana domain.
All right.
Now, all of these clerics are going to be getting something right at level 1 because in the 2014 Player's Handbook, certain classes, including the cleric, you get your subclass right at level 1. 2024, it's my understanding, take it with a grain of salt, that you get it at level 3 now.
Level 3.
But
yeah,
we're talking 2014, so that's what we're going to stick with. So level 1, you're going to kickstart your Arcana domain spells. So we know how domain spells work, right, gang? We have these ones always prepared. They're always on your list. They count as cleric spells for you. So at level 1, you get Detect Magic and Magic Missile. 2 solid ass spells.
Yeah.
Really good. Level 3.
I love this domain. Can I just say real quick,
It's
gush at the
so
very
good.
top of it? It's this one. Oh, man. If I come across this one before I made Galadin, we might be having a whole different campaign.
Yeah, it's a very intriguing domain for sure. So, first level, Detect Magic, Magic Missile. When you're a 3rd level cleric, Magic Weapon, Nistel's Magic Aura. DMs, look up that spell, Nistel's Magic Aura. That shit is crazy. So many fun things you can do with that. Level 5, Dispel Magic, Magic Circle. Level 7, Arcane Eye, Liamon's Secret Chest. Level 9, Planar Binding, Teleportation Circle.
Jeez.
So, pretty freaking cool stuff. You also gain proficiency in Arcana, and you gain 2 cantrips from the Wizard spell. They count as cleric cantrips for you. So that's dope as hell.
Hell yeah.
Because later on with potent spell casting, that's incredible.
Right. Yeah.
Then at level 2, and all clerics are going to get this, you get an extra way to use your channel divinity. So all clerics are going to get Turn Undead, which eventually upgrades to Destroy Undead. Then, depending on your subclass, your domain, you get a different type of channel divinity that you could do. For the Arcana domain, it is Arcane Abjuration. Take an action, choose a celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend within 30 feet of you that can see or hear you. They have to make a wisdom save or they are turned for 1 minute or until they take any damage. Turned creatures have to spend their turns trying to move as far away from you as it can, and they can't take reactions. They have to use the dash action, the whole 9. So, pretty freaking incredible. And then at 5th level, the creature gets banished without concentration if it isn't on its plane of origin, and the CR has to be below a certain number. So
crazy.
There's a whole table for that. You can find the subclass, find the little table for everything. Like, for example, cleric level 5, it has to be a CR 1/2 or lower. That is very low.
Yeah.
But by the time you get up to 17, CR 4 or lower. And then it's like every 3 levels, it goes down a CR or up a CR depending on which direction you're going.
Yeah.
But really, really cool. That's fun. A banishment is nuts. You just have to make sure it's not on its plane of origin. But really, 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 really cool. It's going to have its moments where it's not as helpful because it's like you can only choose 1 creature.
Right. It sounds really cool at top, and then the CR restriction really, really gets me. It's very low. I mean, it's supposed to be like Destroy Undead, but the fact that it's only 1.
Yeah, exactly. It's only 1. So it just kind of, it makes your Turn Undead a little bit, like, it gives it the tiniest bit of, like, extra use. Because, there are those times where you're a cleric and you're like, I've never used Turn Undead. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like, Arcane Abjuration is just like, hey, I know we're not fighting undead again, but here's a celestial. You can use your channel divinity if you want to, but it does feel circumstantial. Okay, 6th level, we get Spellbreaker. When you restore hit points to an ally with a 1st level spell or higher, you can also end a spell on them. The level of that spell must be equal or lower than the healing spell you used. So,
okay, so it's like a free dispel magic. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. You cast third level healing word, then they get a third level spell dispelled off of them.
Slow. See ya.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that would be a great example. So cool. Really, really cool. That just happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that just happens. It's insane. Let me just double check one thing. To an ally with the spell of first level, when you restore hit points to an ally. Yeah, it just says to an ally. It doesn't say it uses any kind of reaction or anything like that. You can also end one spell of your choice on that creature. So I don't see what's stopping you from doing a mass cure wounds or a mass healing word and doing this to multiple people if your whole team gets fucked.
That's crazy.
The only thing is that it's specific to having a spell. So like if you're like fucked up from like dragon fear, that's gonna do nothing. That's not a spell. So that's the specifics. But it's the Arcana domain. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's level, still big because I mean, Mass Cure Wounds is a 5th level spell, so anything you could just choose anything 5th level or lower and just
it would be huge.
Gone.
It could be huge. It could be so helpful. 8th level, you're gonna see this a lot with all the clerics. There's like 2 different kinds that bounce back and forth pretty much, but potent spell casting for the Arcana domain. You add your Wisdom modifier to cleric cantrips, which includes those wizard ones you got in the beginning. Then at 7, there's a huge gap here, very front loaded. As is 5e want to do. But if we wait all the way to level 17, then we get Arcane Mastery, which arguably is one of the best 17th level subclass things in the entire universe.
You're goddamn right.
It's so good. I cannot be understated how good it is, but let me tell you what it is. So at 17th level, you get to choose 4 spells from the wizard spell list, 1 from each of the following levels. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Add them to your domain spells. They're always prepared, and they're cleric spells for you.
Insane.
Absolutely insane. So bonkers. So just
you
absolutely
get a 9th level
bonkers.
Wizard spell, a 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th level wizard spell.
Yeah, that's insane. It's absolutely fucking insane. You just learn all these extra spells.
Yeah.
And they can go to your domain spells, so it doesn't count against like the number of spells that you learn. So you insane to level up 1 level and be like, I know 4 extra spells, and they're from levels 6 through 9th.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely insane. Really, really cool idea. I really do love the idea of combining, because in at least in D&D sort of normal settings, there's this like kind of disconnect between the arcane and the divine. You know what I mean? Like they're 2 different forms of magic, and then you have druid shit wherever the fuck you put it. But like you have divine and arcane, and this one is both. You're a cleric of the arcane. Yeah. The idea of having a god who is their whole shtick is magic. Obviously, there's some examples in Forgotten Realms lore and stuff, but pretty freaking cool.
Hell yeah.
What else do we have?
Next domain we're looking at is the Forge domain. Yeah. Again, first level, you get some domain spells and some proficiencies and stuff. Domain spells at level 1, we're looking at Identify and Searing Smite. Again, super solid first level spells.
Yeah,
level
especially
3,
clerics are ritual casters, so like spells like Identify are even more helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Level 3, you're getting Heat Metal and Magic Weapon. Cool. Yeah, it's devious. Level 5, you're getting Elemental Weapon and Protection from Energy. Awesome. Level 7, you get Fabricate and Wall of Fire. Getting even better. And then at level 9, you get Animate Objects and Creation.
Really good.
Love all of those spells. This being a kind of I would call it a blacksmith centric domain, being the Forge domain. You do get proficiency with heavy armor and smith's tools. And then you also get the Blessing of the Forge. At the end of a long rest, you can touch one piece of non-magical armor or a weapon, and you give it a +1, and it's magical until your next long rest, or if you die. But you can only do this once per long rest. So it's just, you pick either your armor or your weapon, and you make that a +1.
Wild.
Yeah, that's
Wild.
That's really big. I mean, because at level 1, that's
dip, if you wanted to.
Yeah. 1 level dip, and you get that +1 sword, and you're getting through all those weird.
You get so much with 1 level dip.
Yeah,
Because you get Identify and Searing Smite.
Mhm.
You might not use this Searing Smite depending on your build, but you're getting Identify, which even if it's like, oh, I don't have ritual casting, you still can cast Identify like once a day, twice a day. Still dope as hell. Then you get heavy armor and smith's tools, and then you just get a +1 at like depending on when you even dip
level
in.
1.
It's insane to get plus. That's so cool. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, super cool. Second level, you're getting your Channel Divinity special sauce. This one is called Artisan's Blessing. It's an hour-long ritual that crafts a non-magical item that must include some metal. And the item can't be worth more than 100 GP. But that's the extent of it. I mean, you can make pretty much anything you want for a Channel Divinity. This is a good way to implement out of combat uses of Channel Divinity.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's also like they give some special examples and stuff like that. Like there's like tiny things, for example, like if you saw a key, you would be able to easily replicate that key.
That's super cool.
So like there's some really creative ways to use it once you like start thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard with stuff like abilities like this because it's like you kind of need to be in the moment.
Right.
Like if you were playing a character who had this ability and things came up, you're more likely to be like, oh, fuck, I could just make one.
Very true. But yeah, so that's our second level Channel Divinity. Next bonus you're getting is at level 6. You're getting the Soul of the Forge. While in heavy armor, you're getting a +1 to your AC, which is dope. I always love more AC. And also you get resistance to fire damage as just being the Soul of the Forge, which is dope as hell. At 8th level, you're getting Divine Strike. So rather than it being in addition to your cantrips, this one's in addition to your melee attacks. When you do a weapon attack, you're going to do an extra D8 of fire damage, and then at 14th level, it becomes 2D8 extra fire damage.
Interesting that you never gain proficiency in martial weapons. It's a bummer. There's other ways to get it, but
there are other ways to get it.
You can take
clerics
1
not
feet and get it.
Do clerics not just get that? No, they don't. They don't just get that.
No, because there's ones later on where it's like now you only get martial weapons and you don't even get the heavy armor. Like they switch it up.
Right. But yeah, so moving on to our final thing, you are the Saint of Forge and Fire. You have now immunity to fire damage, and while you've got heavy armor on, you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. That's dope. That's dope as hell.
That is dope.
This one is
yeah,
what's up?
It feels like 17th level to get bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks feels like a lot. It feels like a long time to wait. Just because
I don't know.
If you're a player and you're at 17th level, tell me the chances, the number of combats you're going to be encountering non-magical damage.
Very true.
At a certain point.
Very true. But you're also getting potentially a +2 to your AC from your armor and stuff at 6th level.
Right.
I do think that's a long time to wait for that resistance, but it's kind of offset by the fact that, I mean, how often are you getting hit by bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, non-magical damage anyway?
I know, that's kind of my point. It's like you're already way hard to hit. Now you're just taking it. Chances are it's gonna be magical damage, but
yeah,
if it's not, then you're good to go.
Can wade into that horde of orcs.
Hell yeah.
Dang
orcs.
But yeah, orcs. So that's the Forge domain. It's a good one. I would probably like that 17th level stuff. I would use this as multi-class fodder probably. I don't know if I would stick it out through 17th level, but definitely I would work this into maybe an artificer or something like kind of deal, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Just fully accept the merge and become the cleric artificer I was destined to be.
Yeah. A ranger, maybe. making your own bows and shit right out in the old wild.
Oh, yeah, that's cool too. Yeah. You can do all kind of fun stuff with it.
All right. Well, next up is the Grave Domain. I've gotten to play a Grave Domain once, and I freaking loved it. Even though we didn't play that game long enough for me to get the 6th level ability that I'm a big fan of, but oh well. Here we go. Now, at first level, you're going to get those domain spells from the Grave Domain. Level 1, Bane, False Life. Bane is dope.
Nice.
False Life is okay. Level 3, Gentle Repose, Ray of Enfeeblement. Gentle Repose, I have never found a use in my life, in my personal games. If you have, please write us. I would love to talk to you about it. Ray of Enfeeblement, very, very cool, but needs to be in such a specific environment. It's one of those ones where it lessens the damage that strength-based attacks do, but it's like, if there's 10 enemies, then it only does it for one person. Anyway, level 5, Revivify, Vampiric Touch. Now we're talking. Very, very good. Having Revivify always ready is dope. Vampiric Touch is so perfect for the aesthetic that a lot of Grave Domain clerics are going to have. Mm-hmm. Then you have level 7, Blight and Death Ward. 2 solid-ass spells. Yeah. Level 9, Anti-Life Shell and Raise Dead. Again, 2 incredible spells. Absolutely dope as hell. First level, we're also getting the Circle of Mortality. When you roll dice to restore hit points for a creature currently at 0, you do max healing. So if they're at 1 hit point and you do a healing word, then you have to roll 1d4 plus your whiz. But if they're at 0, you just wait until they're down. Then it's 4 plus your max. It's just max. You instantly become that healer, and it's a common thing to do in D&D. Obviously, it depends on the table and the setting and how deadly it is and stuff. But it's so common to be I'm just saving these healing words in case people go down. I'm not actually a healer. I'm just oh shit, you're bleeding. Here you go. Get up. Right. Speaking of which, you also learn the Spare the Dying cantrip. But for you, it has a range of 30 feet, and it's a bonus action.
Wild. Yeah, okay.
There are not many bonus action cantrips in this world.
Right.
And the Grave Domain Cleric gets one, and it's so clutch and so cool. You also get Eyes of the Grave, a sort of more specific, zoned-in version of Paladin's Divine Sense. So Eyes of the Grave, you take an action. You can detect location of undead within 60 feet of you that are not behind total cover. And you can do that a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier per long rest. So it's not going to help you with fiends or celestials, which is why it's not as good as Divine Sense. But still, undead, you're going to clock them. Then, second level, we get a very cool, a very teamwork-focused channel divinity called Path to the Grave. Choose a creature that you can see within 30 feet of you. You use your action to do this. Then the next time you or an ally hits the creature with an attack, the creature has vulnerability to all of that attack's damage. And then the curse ends. Yeah.
So that could be slashing or piercing.
It could literally be anything. It's the attack's damage. So it could be 2 types of damage. You know how that happens sometimes, like a Divine Smite.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
The really cool thing about this Taylor is the possibility. That's
okay. Well, yeah, I'm just thinking about it.
Because if you think about normally if you crit, you double all your dice, but you don't double the modifiers. Well, this isn't saying an auto crit, right? The wording's very specific. It says double. The creature has vulnerability, so it's just double damage to whatever your attack roll damage is. So that means if you're let's say your modifier is just a +5, automatically right there is a +10.
Right.
That 5 gets multiplied by 2. Then if you crit on top of this, dog, what are we talking about?
Right.
Because that's insane. Because now we're doing essentially 4 times the dice.
Right. I am also thinking about the fact that I have an attack as Kaladin that does 3 different damage types in one attack. If I use my lightning javelin and put a divine smite on it, that's piercing, lightning, and radiant.
Yeah, he'll just be vulnerable to that single attack. It doesn't like last, like he's not now just vulnerable to those 3 damage types.
That's bull. Okay.
It's just that one attack.
Okay. Fine. Still, that's a big hit.
It's still a huge hit. It's so cool. Eventually, you're going to be able to, depending on the campaign that you're in, when you get multiple channel divinities and stuff like that, you're setting up wombo combos. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It is so
And you get
powerful.
that at second level,
so
too.
Cool. That's, your channel divinity. Incredible. So that's Path to the Grave. A literal alley-oop.
I love it.
Of you just setting somebody up.
Or
yourself up. But it's really, the downside kind of is it says the next time you or an ally hits the creature. So there does need to come in some inherent practicing. Initiative order can play a huge role into how effective it is. There's a lot of factors, but still I think so fucking cool. Then we get Sentinel at Death's Door at level 6. This is such a fucking cool ability that if we take away critical hits from DMs, this becomes completely a moot point. But Sentinel at Death's Door, as a reaction, when you or an ally that you can see within 30 feet of you suffers a critical hit, you can turn it into a normal hit.
Nice.
And you can do that a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier.
I mean, that's a lifesaver.
So it's just a reaction, 30 foot, just an instant being like, no, that's actually not a critical hit. That's just a normal ass hit. Pretty fucking cool. Yeah. Less cool now that like fucking silvery barbs exist in the game. So now like everybody can have this ability practically. But there was a time when this was really fucking cool.
Back in my day.
I mean, honestly though, like
no, I know.
Other than spending a spell slot,
silvery barbs has changed the way people play.
It truly is. It's a crazy spell. Anyway, 8th level, you get potent spell casting, so you get to add your wisdom modifier to any damage from a cleric cantrip. And then at 17th level, you get the ability called Keeper of Souls. When an enemy that you see dies within 30 feet of you, you or one ally of your choice that is within 30 feet of you regains hit points equal to the enemy's number of hit dice. So this is one of those things where you're going to have to talk to your DM and stuff because the DM would have or should have that available. But it's one of those things too, like sometimes I homebrew monsters and stuff and I don't put how many hit dice they have. I just put like, oh, this guy's got 175 hit points. You know what I mean? Like I don't even do the hit dice. So this would be like one of those things where it's like, God, I mean, granted, they're at level 17. So by now I'm probably not homebrewing it as much. I'm probably just using as many ancient dragons as I can. But it is insane. I mean, like some monsters, to put it into perspective, can have anywhere between like, obviously they can have 1 hit dice, but it can go all the way up to like, I've seen like 20 hit dice, 30 hit dice. It can get up to like crazy numbers. So you're talking about healing that every single time that somebody dies within sight of somebody else on your team. And you can just do that. Now, once you use, because it's once you use it, you can't do so again until the start of your next turn. So that's still, if bad guys are dying every turn, every round, you're going to just constantly be healing people as this happens, which is insane. Because there's no like, use an action, use a reaction. It just happens. Yeah. It just happens.
I love moves
at 17th
like that
level,
too, that are
people
just
dying near you just give them fucking so much healing. That's insane. But there you go. There's the Grave Domain. It's so much fun.
Hell yeah.
It's so interesting playing a character who's just like obsessed with, why would you be this? Why are you the Grave Domain? Like it just invites all those questions that make a fun character building moment.
Yeah. So the next one we've got is going to be the Order Domain. This is a class that kind of embodies the literal lawful good archetype because their like deity is the law for the most part.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't even have to be like lawful good. It could just be
no. It's just the law. You're absolutely right. It is not necessarily lawful good. It is. I'll just say the lawful bit. They're really adherent to that. So for domain spells at first level, we're looking at command and heroism. Kind of makes sense on that front. They are able to basically just speak law at people. There's a lot of their features that they get that are basically, you tell the law at somebody, they have to do it now. At level 3, you're getting hold person and zone of truth. Level 5, you get mass healing word as just a domain spell, which is nice, and slow as a domain spell. Level 7, you get compulsion and locate creature. And then level 9, you get commune and dominate person, or commune, not commune, commune. It's commune. Yeah. Not you don't.
Oh, man,
you don't just
commune.
No. Commune. But yeah, so a lot of that, all of those spells are really cool, and it's like I said, it's a lot of cool. Speaking truths at people and making them do things. As far as what proficiencies you get at level 1, heavy armor, and then you can either choose intimidation or persuasion. And then also you get the voice of authority. If you cast a first level spell or higher on an ally, that ally can use a reaction immediately afterwards to make a weapon attack against a creature they can see of their choice. If your spell targets multiple allies, you can choose which ally. It's only one can take that reaction.
It's pretty cool. I'm getting this actually. When I first was reading about the order domain, I wasn't super impressed, not mechanically even at all. And that's not even what I'm talking about. Right. Just role play. I was like, how do I play this and make it fun and not just a stick in the mud where I'm constantly that's not how that should go. And it's I don't know if I want to play that. That's too close to home for me. But then reading over these now, I'm thinking playing like a lawyer is really funny.
Yeah. Like a Ace Attorney type.
Yeah, big time. I think that's really funny.
Yeah. So as far as your second level, we're looking at for your channel divinity, you get the order's demand. This basically is an action to hit every creature of your choice within 30 feet that can see or hear you. They have to take a wisdom save or be charmed until the end of your next turn or until they take damage. And you can cause charmed creatures to drop what they're holding when they fail. Yeah. So you can basically just say, hey, drop your weapons, and they will. So I can say fail.
Potentially really cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think I like that one. You're hitting more creatures, so that's good compared to
I love the last one. Yeah, 30 feet is a lot of space. This is kind of it seems a little lackluster at first. Just because it is literally that's the only thing that it says that you can make them do is drop what they're holding. And when it does say that they're charmed by you, so you could suggest things and ask them to do things, but it's not like a forced dominate person type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, it's a lot of creatures within. You can get a lot of creatures within 30 feet.
Yeah.
And yeah. Moving on to level 6, we're looking at the embodiment of the law. If you cast an enchantment spell of first or higher, so that's your dominate style spells, you can change the casting time to a bonus action, and then you can do this a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you get that back on a long rest. So yeah, with the heavy armor proficiency and stuff, this is like that stereotypical plate mail wielding cleric. So now you can cast your enchantment spell as a bonus action. You still have your attack, which is nice. That's why I almost always dip into sorcerer for a few levels at least, just so I love quicken spell. It changes how you look at the action economy, and this is just like that, but just for enchantment spells. It's nice. Anything gives you different kind of action economy, I love.
Yeah, and you're getting a lot of enchantment spells in your domain spells.
Right, exactly.
Which is nice.
Yeah. And then, is slow an enchantment spell?
I would guess transmutation, but I could be wrong.
It is a transmutation spell.
Nailed it.
Good job. Proud of you. 8th level, your little extra, your kind of attack spice. You get the Divine Strike version. That means your weapons are doing extra damage. You get a D8 of psychic damage at level 8 and then 2d8 at level 14. At 17th level, you get the Order's Wrath. If you deal Divine Strike damage to a creature, which is your 8th level stuff, you can curse them until the start of your next turn, and then the next time an ally hits that creature with an attack, they take an additional 2d8 psychic damage. And you can only curse a creature like this once per turn. But still, I mean,
yeah,
at 17th level, that's 4d8 extra psychic damage for every attack.
Yeah, no, it's very, very good. My only takeaway is like how you only have one attack.
Yeah. That's
You've
very
gone
true.
17 levels, so you only have one attack. No matter what you
Right.
dip into after this, it doesn't matter. And then their feat wise, I mean, like you could do the 2 light weapon thing and like get a bonus action attack, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But the psychic damage is only once per turn anyway.
Once per turn. Yeah.
So that kind of doesn't matter. And it's like you're 17th level, you have 9th level spell slots now.
Right.
For you to necessarily, like, it depends on how often you're getting into combat and stuff. It pushes you so far into being like, you need to be doing weapon attacks. Otherwise, a lot of your stuff doesn't matter.
True.
Which is my only beef.
I
But
mean, I can see that.
I still like it. It's still a good build. If you want to build your cleric that way, it's still definitely dope as hell.
For sure.
And there's
But yeah,
still
that's
so many
the,
other things you can do because of your 6th level thing. You can still do insane stuff because you're because of that 6th level thing.
Yeah.
You're casting a couple times a day or between long rests. You can cast a 8th level fucking enchantment spell,
Right.
And then
as
still
bonus
make an
action.
attack. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's still a dope build.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. I would have to. Oh man, that would be an interesting character for sure. Depending on how you play the order domain cleric.
Yeah.
The person just being like, that doesn't go there. I can't believe you're wearing white after Labor Day, you idiot. You can't do that. That's against the rules.
You're making the fashion police build.
Just somebody who like, what if the order that you're like so worshiping and stuff is like kind of just like faux pas. It's like not the biggest deal. It's not the end of the world, but it's like,
Right.
technically that's considered tacky. Can't believe you're doing that.
That's great.
That's kind of funny. Okay.
All right. That's the order.
That's the order domain. Peace domain. Now, I have also played a peace domain cleric, and let me tell you, if you want to go the route of support, fun roleplay opportunities, and just the potential for a ton of healing and cool things, man, the peace domain is where it's at. Like, just so much fun. I love this fucking subclass. So, first level, you're getting your peace domain spells. Level 1, Heroism, Sanctuary. 2 solid ass spells. One of them's a bonus action. That's cool as hell. Heroism is one of those spells that I think gets slept on. It's actually pretty decent, depending on what level you are in the campaign and stuff. At lower levels, it's better. But
yeah,
level 3, we get Aid and Warding Bond. 2 solid spells. 5, Beacon of Hope and Sending.
nice.
Incredible. Beacon of Hope is incredible. Sending is such a cool out of combat spell. There's so many interesting things. It changes a campaign when you have Sending in it, technically. Then we have level 7, we get Aura of Purity and Odaluk's Resilient Sphere. And at level 9, Greater Restoration and Rary's Telepathic Bond.
Damn.
Yeah, we're all about the support here.
Yeah,
All
I
about
love
the
it
support.
though. That's
You're not
some
gonna
solid
find-
ass support.
Yeah, it's the whole build is around that. You're not going to find a ton of abilities that do a lot with extra damage or anything like that, except for that 8th level one. But so those are your peace domain spells. You also at level 1 get Implement of Peace, gain proficiency in either Insight, Performance, or Persuasion. You get to choose.
Okay.
I like that. Just in terms of giving you 3 options is really fun. Emboldening Bond. Now this is a really big ability that gets built on later on. So Emboldening Bond. Choose a number of creatures, which can include yourself, equal to your proficiency bonus within 30 feet of you. So it starts at 2, goes all the way to 6 eventually. You create a magical bond for 10 minutes with those individuals. And again, this can include you. It doesn't need to include you. It lasts for 10 minutes. Any bonded creature is within 30 feet of another bonded creature. They get to roll a d4 and add it to a d20 roll once per turn.
Crazy.
A minor, it's like bless and guidance combined because it's any d20 roll, but it's only once per turn.
Yeah, but still, that's huge.
But it's also 10 minutes. It's also, there's a 30-foot. It's a lot to bookkeep in some regards, is what I have found with this, you know?
Fair.
Like, because when you hit people up with this, you have to be like, okay, cool. So you get to add a d4, but only once per round. And also, you have to be within 30 feet of somebody else who's bonded. So make sure you know exactly where everybody is on the map at all times. So it can be a lot to bookkeep, but it is such a fucking good ability. And you get to use this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and recharge on a long rest. But it lasts 10 minutes. So depending on the campaign and stuff and how much, you know, crazy. I love that ability. So fun to role play too. Like, what does it mean? What is this fucking thing that you're doing with these, this like ritual of fucking bonding,
making a bond
people?
with
like,
each
what
other?
is that? Yeah. Second level, we get the Channel Divinity Balm of Peace. Balm is in a, I don't know if my Jersey accent will do it any justice, but it's BALM, like lip balm. Anyway, you take your action, move up to your speed without provoking opportunity attacks, and when you move within 5 feet of any creature of your choice, you can restore hit points to that creature equal to 2d6 plus your wisdom modifier.
What?
And a creature can only receive this healing once per use of it, so you can't just do zigzags and do suicide sprints next to somebody and just keep healing them. But there's ways to, like, depending on where you are in the combat field, it makes your positioning so much more important. There's like so much to think about when you have this Channel Divinity in your back pocket to be like, because the wording's very specific. Action, move up to your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. To me, that means I could use my movement, then take an action to do this, and then I get to move again.
Yeah.
That it's not, you know what I mean? Like the moving up to your speed that's just part of your action. It doesn't mean that you're expending your movement as you do it. So there's so many opportunities with this. It's an action to do. You can still do bonus action things. Like, it's just so cool. It's so cool. I love that.
Yeah,
Channel
that
Divinity.
seems pretty broken. And then even then you could do something like attack on a long strider or something like that where your speed is increased.
Yeah. Absolutely. Or like a steed or something like that. It's fucking bonkers, dude. And then at 6th level, it gets even better because now we get Protective Bond, which is just an upgrade to Emboldening Bond. So now you're at 6th level. Your proficiency bonus is a 3. So now you got an extra buddy in there in your bond. Now, not only do you still get that D4 shit, right? And as you get more people in the bond, it's easier to be within range of people too, right? Because there's just more of them. So that just makes sense.
Right.
Now, not only do you get the D4 per round, but also if a bonded creature is about to take damage, and you're bonded and you're within 30 feet, you can use your reaction to teleport within 5 feet and you take that damage.
Damn.
So it's like a very heroic sacrificial move, but it's could be huge.
Yeah, I mean, and with this build being the way that it is, you're probably a backliner anyway, so hopefully you've got some health.
Yeah. And other people can do it too.
Right, exactly, like the tank could do it. Come back and protect you. Right.
Absolutely. So it's just very, very cool. Not to mention, you could do this on a relatively smaller hit that you know is not that big of a deal, just for placement around the field. Yeah. So it is so useful. So cool. That's at 6th level. 8th level, we get that wisdom modifier to damage of any cleric cantrip. So the powerful spell casting stuff. And then 17th level, expansive bond. The 30-foot range that emboldening and protective bond once had is now 60-foot range.
Insane.
even more room to teleport and use the D4 thing and all that kind of stuff. So it's fucking nuts. And when somebody teleports and takes that damage with protective bond, now they have resistance to the damage that they're going to take.
Damn.
So now people can, of course, be using their reactions for other things, holding on to it for opportunity attack. Maybe they have Sentinel. Maybe they have Warcaster. There's reasons, right? Counter spell, whatever it may be. But if not, homie, let's be teleporting.
For real.
Let's be teleporting around 16 foot. Bing, 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 bing. The whole team. Because at 17th level, you're at, I believe, a 6 in terms of your fucking...
the proficiency bonus.
So you should be able to get your whole goddamn party in every single bond, which means hopefully somebody's within somebody else within 60 feet. I mean, man, it's crazy. I love the peace domain. Little bit of bookkeeping. That's if there's a downside, that's what it is. It's a little bit of bookkeeping because of the so many creatures in these bonds for 10 minutes and having to keep track of all that. But it's so fun.
Hell yeah.
And so helpful. It goes toe to toe with the life domain for healing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just from the bond makes it so much, I think, better than the life. Just from being able to move, it gives you a bunch of movement versatility. It gives you a bunch of damage, like incoming damage, a good way to spread it all out. I like it. Yeah. I like it a lot. All right, last one. We're on the home stretch, baby.
Let's do it.
The Twilight domain of clerics. These ones are kind of, I would put them in the same vein as the Grave Cleric in the spooky realm a little bit. But as far as domain spells, at first level, we're looking at Fairy Fire and Sleep. Fair enough. Third level, you get Moonbeam and See Invisibility. Fifth level, you get Aura of Vitality and Leonid's Tiny Hut. That's pretty cool.
Love that spell.
Leomund's Tiny Hut.
It's a great spell. And it's a ritual.
Yeah, I love it. At level 7, you're getting Aura of Life and Greater Invisibility. Both solid as hell. And then level 9, you get Circle of Power. Hell yeah. And Mislead. I don't know what Mislead is. I didn't do my whole research on that, but seems cool. Sounds cool. Let's see.
Mislead is pretty good. I think it creates like it
makes like a copy of you that appears where you're standing, but you become invisible at the same time. So basically you make like a shadow clone kind of substitution jutsu type of deal.
Kind of, yeah.
All right, cool. As far as bonus proficiency, the proficiencies and stuff that you get, you're looking at heavy armor and martial weapons, so you're going to be kind of more like a frontliner. Eyes of the Night, you have dark vision out to 300 feet. Also, as an action, you can share this dark vision with creatures other than you within 10 feet, up to your wisdom modifier. The dark vision shared bit lasts an hour, and then it recharges on a long rest, or you can spend a spell slot and cast it again.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah, pretty insane. For the last thing that you get at level 1, you get Vigilant Blessing. As an action, you can give a creature, including yourself, within a touch range, advantage on the next initiative roll that they make. That's
pretty
cool.
Wild. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess being able to do it to yourself is really, really good. But is this not just touch advantage on the next initiative roll they make? Oh, true.
Yep. Okay. And then it ends immediately after the initiative roll, or if you use it again, so you can't just like stack it on a bunch of different people.
Yeah, they got us.
They got us, gang. They got us, gang. Anyway, I was gonna break it, but no, fine. Moving on to second level with your channel divinity sauce. You get the Twilight Sanctuary. As an action, you create a 30-foot radius sphere around you of dim light that moves with you. This Twilight Sanctuary lasts for a minute or until you get incapacitated or you die. Whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn in the sphere, you can grant them either temp HP equal to 1d6 of plus your cleric level, or you can end one charm or fear effect on them. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
It's it's one of those it's a niche. It's a really niche divinity, which I think a lot of them kind of are. But I do like that it creates light around you for one. But also, it's just there's no economy for healing people. So as long as you can make sure that everybody's within 30 feet of you, even if it's a temporary HP thing. So if they're down, they're not going to come back up. Excuse me.
Yeah. But it can still prevent a lot of people from getting up because you're not using spell slots.
Mm-hmm.
It's not doing any of action economy once you pop it. It's just whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn, you can grant them one of these. So in theory, if you have your entire team, like 5 other players inside your aura, every single turn that they end inside of it, they're getting 1d6 plus your cleric level, which if you take this any decent length of time,
right,
that's insane. That's that can be an incredibly high number.
That's a lot of HP. Yeah.
Right there. Every single time they end their turn.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. That's you're preventing a lot of potential damage that way.
That's very true. I like that it moves with you.
That's cool.
Huge. Yeah, it's not like a silence or something where it's like gonna be on a point. Anyway, moving on to 6th level, you get the steps of night feet. As a bonus action when you're in dim light or darkness, you can give yourself a flying speed equal to your walking speed for 1 minute. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all uses on a long rest. That's crazy, tapped with the channel divinity bit.
Yeah.
Because you can just fly then.
Yeah, it bakes in because it moves around you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
crazy.
Baked in, you have flying forever. It's insane.
For a minute.
So cool.
you have
flying forever.
Which in battle though, a minute is forever.
In battle, yeah, all century. You'll have it forever. That's forever. Yeah, it's so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. So moving on to 8th level, you get Divine Strike. Again, you're getting those martial proficiencies, heavy armor proficiencies. You're gonna be up in the shit. So you're getting that extra D8 radiant damage with weapon attacks, and then at 14th level you get 2d8 damage. Starting at 17th level, or I said once you hit 17th level, you'll get the Twilight Shroud, which means that you and your allies have half cover, so that'll be +2 to your AC while you're inside the sphere of Twilight Sanctuary. That's cool as hell.
It's very cool. It's a
baked in
boost.
AC bonus. Yeah.
It's a huge boost. Let me ask you this, though. If the bad guy was also inside the thing, does that matter? No, it doesn't matter.
It says you and allies have half cover. And then also, up at the top, whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn is in the sphere, you can grant them one of these benefits. So it's creatures that you choose for both of these things.
Crazy. Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess the idea that this aura of dim light, it's such an interesting aura.
Right.
Because they describe it as an aura of dim light and all this kind of stuff, because it opens up a lot of, I think for them as the designers, as a lot of unforeseen issues, actually, mechanically speaking.
Right.
What does a daylight spell do to this, or darkness spell? You know what I mean?
True. Very true.
There's no mention of magical darkness or what level spell it takes to get rid of that dimness. If it's dim and I cast a daylight spell, am I getting rid of the dimness? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of just little tiny niche questions that kind of go unanswered.
Is this the one? This is the problem that we
experienced. This
we had an issue with Tony 2 times.
Yeah, and it was because of darkness having a line in it that specifically says, like, you have to use a spell of higher than second in order to get rid of the magical darkness.
It's weird.
And this isn't a spell, it's a channel divinity, so it kind of goes outside of spell slots, so then, therefore, who the fuck knows? And then it's just DM's choice, so it fucking sucks sometimes. So, that's my only thing. But
fair enough. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Because it's a weird aura, like, just the idea of it being dim light. is so
right. Like what
interesting
happens
to me.
like the thing that I was thinking of, like like what if you're outside during the daytime? Does it mean it gets darker around you? Mechanically, that's what I would want it to do, because then I can fly.
yeah, absolutely. That's what I would think. But then also, like, how is that providing you with half cover if you're fighting somebody who has dark vision? Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's just like, I understand that it's supposed to be a magical dim light aura. It's not just pure dim light. But it just like, there are little things about this class. I think this subclass is so cool. I mean, the flying ability alone is truly what makes it. And the moving aura, very, very cool. The spell list is dope. However, I just have beef with that. Like, I don't know. I think I have beef with it being half cover. Or like all of the little indiscrepancies with like it specifically being
I do
dim
wish
light.
that
I wish it could just be like
divinity was a little more concretely written.
Yes.
There's too much ambiguity in it that leads to 20 minutes at a table talking about how this and darkness interact.
Exactly. It's like it reminds me of I was having a conversation with some family members around like the dinner table kind of thing, and we were talking about, different kinds of milk. And, there's cashew milk, macadamia milk, buttermilk, cow's milk, skim milk, rice milk, oat milk, whole milk.
Well, that's all we can get into this time. You can find us on
milk,
TikTok and Instagram at Soyouwannabeadm, or you can ask us a question at soyouwannabeadm@gmail.com. If you like the episode, don't forget to give us 5 stars and a review wherever you found us. Check out our Patreon and Twitch with the link in the description, and then join us next time for more Dungeon Master tips and tricks.
Bye.
See you.
And now I have the honor of giving a shout out to the members of our Patreon gang. Lee, we can't wait to roll dice with you. Nub Muffins, may Paylor's light shine upon you. And there's Vanessa D, Talk Screen, and Tappy. If you want a shout out, join the Adult or Ancient Dragon gangs on Patreon. Tune in next time for more tips and tricks from So You Wanna Be a DM.